it was quite interesting watching the build-up to the game against Brentford yesterday. Chris Sutton was being, I don't know, interviewed by somebody else, and they were going through the list of West Ham purchases this summer, and it sort of felt like a bit of a well, not a dig, but maybe they were just appraising the situation in the reality in which they saw it, which was it ain't good enough. They haven't spent any money. And this, of course, is absolutely correct. And whilst I've done numerous videos saying, I think it'll be okay, I think we will, I think it was amazing how little it took just to rock the boat. It was amazing what a small thing, and by this I mean the exclusion of Jared Bowen, him not being available for selection, was enough to just upset our attacking formation, our attacking flow, and our attacking gameplay. Really, look, great goal by side Benrahma, by the way, really good. This is something David Moyes said in the comments in the interview afterwards. We've been waiting for him to do that, and again, I didn't think that was a great comment by Moyes. He's already done it for West Ham. He scored in the previous friendly as well. But he was suggesting that he tries that stuff in training. Well, it's not just in training. This is what he tried. I think he tried it twice already during that game, where he sort of cuts in on his right and he tries to bend it into the top corner, exactly the place where he scored. The two attempts before that went high and wide. But this was a really good goal, and it's going to be a feature of his gameplay. In many respects, the mirror reversal of what Yarmolenko tries to do. That was good, and so, from attacking standpoint, pleased to see it. Pleased to see Mikel Antonio fit and running around a lot, although it was a worry when he got hacked down. A massive worry. I thought, come on, mate, just get up. And I was pretty angry at the time with a Brentford player for going in like he did in a friendly. But anyway, that's by the by. I felt it was blunted. The attack was blunted by Bowen not being there. And I say not totally impotent, but blunted enough that we weren't able to cause wave after wave of attacks. Now, let's get it a little bit into context before I talk about the squad depth, which is what I want to talk about. Brentford have had a good pre-season, and you can't read anything into pre-season friendlies, end of. We know this. However, they had just drawn against Man United. How good Man United are in pre-season, I don't know. Dave Sire, did they lose? I think they might have lost to Queen's Park Rangers. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's just signed a new contract at Man U, apparently. Excuse me. I'm absolutely gobsmacked at that. I don't rate him at all. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, that's by the by. I thought it was, in the end, a good result against Brentford, who look ready for the season, and as long as they can get Ivan Toney scoring, we'll be all right. But the squad instantly looked thin. My point is, we've got a good first team. One little thing, and it all goes out the window, and we start to look significantly weaker. Now, in the previous friendly, I said I quite enjoyed the sort of attacking quartet, if you like, of Benrahma, of Antonio, of Fornals, who you all know I think is going to have a tremendous season. And Bowen now, I thought they looked sharp, but just take one player out of that. And you looked at the bench, you thought, well, hold on a second, what's going on here? This isn't good. Now, I am obviously aware that Yarmolenko is due to come back, but I just don't think... You can't rely on him. You can't. Look, I think he'll be off. I don't think he'll play really very much for West Ham this season. I think he'll go towards transfer deadline day. You'll see the first month of the season at West Ham go on transfer deadline day. That would be my hunch. Even if he doesn't, even if it's the plan for him to stay, you can't rely on him. He's never going to stay fit long enough. So, in the end, and I understand that Souček's got to come back, Soufal's going to come back, and Rice's going to come back. That's going to add an additional dynamic to our team. Granted, fine. And it's over panic stations. I do think we've got a good first team, but you haven't got to scratch very deep below the surface to have the problems which you're clearly going to have if it remains the same. I think just taking Bowen out of that situation did, because all of a sudden, Moyes, by his own admission, changed the formation to one he wasn't intending on playing against Brentford. Well, again, that's not particularly good. I was quick enough to criticise England for it in the build-up to the Euros, the fact that I didn't feel the way Gareth Southgate was using his friendlies. I said he should be nailing down a formation. He should be, getting players used to playing with each other and that sort of thing. All right, England went to the final. What do I know on that one? But I still think it's not ideal if your manager is having to quite late on change his formation he wants to play because of the loss of one player. That should never be the case. And we need to have learned from that from last season because actually, it's one thing we didn't do was when Antonio was out and Haller was in, we didn't really change things enough. We needed to identify and say, well, hold on a second, we've got a different kind of player here. We shouldn't be playing in the same way. So I understand I've said the complete opposite before, but this isn't last season, this is this season, and we should have learned from that, and we should be in a different situation. And we should at least be in a situation where your right-sided attacker, your right wing, or whatever you want to call Bowen, is out. It doesn't force a whole change for the whole team. That's surely not good. So Ben Johnson was shoehorned into position. I think he's going to have a good season, Johnson. Excuse me. I think he's going to have a good season. I really do. I think he's I think he's going to be a really good and useful squad player. I think he's worked tremendously hard on his left foot. I think somebody that can play at both fullback positions makes us look strong at fullback. I think you can then look whatever formation Moyes wants to play. He's got Cresswell, Masuaku and Johnson to play that side. On the right side, he's got Sufal, he's got Fredericks and Johnson to play the other side. You look at that and you think, well, you'd have to be really unlucky not to be able to play two fullbacks. So I don't think you need necessarily to buy another one, depending on your opinions on Masuaku and Cresswell. If you're in a position where we're going to play left-back 4-4-2 all the time, you might look and think, actually, Cresswell's more of a centre-back now. Masuaku is more of a wing back. Maybe you think we need a left back, but you get what I'm saying. The cover's all right, and I'm pleased with Johnson is my point, but I don't want to see him playing there where he had to play because of Bowen, which was basically taken Bowen's place. And then you get a situation whereby, if you look at how he played against Aston Villa last season, when Moyes came up with the tactical game plan to try and shackle Jack Grealish, if you remember, and he played Fredericks at sort of right wing, didn't he? And he basically had two defenders down that side. I don't want to look for the odd game to do something specific and specialised like that. No problem, it worked a treat. But I don't want to be in a position where we've got, because we're missing our right winger, we're playing Ryan Fredericks on the right wing. I mean, I just don't. He just ain't. He ain't a winger. His footballing skills are not good enough to consistently play on the wing. He didn't play in that game against Aston Villa because he's got a brilliant first touch or he's great at crossing. He played against Aston Villa for his defensive qualities because he could help double up and tag team Jack Grealish. So it's quite clear, and I think this is where it comes into play that we've got to make this attacking midfield signing. So I think you put Lingard into the equation. If it's Lingard, if it's Pereira, whatever the case may be, then it's fine. It sort of liberates Benrahma to either play right or left. So that's fine, isn't it? And I also think that there's another little issue which has taken an attacking player, two issues that have taken an attacking player away from us by stealth. So you could say that we've lost, because we don't have Lingard there, we've lost a wide player. Not that Lingard was playing wide, but Benrahma would play wide. You could also say we've lost a wide player because Felipe Anderson has gone. Yes, he didn't feature last season, but with a European campaign, it was somebody that could play wide. I'll throw another one at you. We've lost a wide player because Paulo Fornals, Moyes is now, I think, starting to appreciate that Fornals plays central. Okay. Lost a wide player then, really, because I think it's fair to say, Fornals spent the majority of last season playing wide left. Fair enough, I think so. I also think we lost another one, which is Lanzini. And not that Lanzini played loads of games last season, he didn't. But before he metamorphosised and morphed into this central midfielder, a deeper line central midfielder, he was coming on as a substitute, as a wide player, by and large, a lot of the time. And Moyes would sometimes deploy him late in games wide. But again, it's another wide player. But now, I think Moyes is looking at him and thinking, here is my reserve central midfielder for Souček and for Declan Rice. I don't think it's enough, by the way. I think we need another one, and you heard my thoughts on Connor Coventry yesterday when I tried that. I tried to speak in less than a minute to give my opinion on that. So I think we're really it's become an area of concern. I think it's an area we need to address. And you also go and look at it, and you think, well, Jared Bowen was the was possibly our most subbed player last season. Okay, well, he'll sub him less, but you can't. Clearly, there's something there. There's one of two things. Excuse me, that's hay fever, by the way. It's either fitness or Moyes doesn't. I don't mean doesn't rate him. Clearly, he rates him because he bought him, but clearly Moyes doesn't see it tactically or whatever. Doesn't see a way that he can play Bowen for all the game, all the time. So in which case, we're leaving ourselves in a bad position, I think, with that. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting. I thought it does throw into light the need for more wide players. It really, really does. And it's not something I'd actually thought of. Because if we don't, then we're going to find this situation where, I guess good for Benrahma, he's going to play wide more. Maybe he's going to play 3-5-2, whatever you want to call it, more. Maybe it's going to be the width is going to come from Masuaku on that left side. Maybe uses Masuaku as a left winger. I don't know. It's quite interesting. But I just looked at it and I thought, you know what? And I know a lot of you are going to be, yeah, you know what? You know, of course, everyone knows the squad's thin, and I know the squad's thin. But I thought this was really the first time that we just had a little inkling how just one absentee can rock the whole boat, can make the whole thing a little bit more worrying than it was. I don't know. Maybe I was going to say maybe it's just me. I don't think it is. I think everybody probably looked at that and thought, oh, this ain't good. So I think urgency. Well, I guess not urgency in terms of if Bowen's fine. Then I think our first team for the first game is good. I mean, really, really good. But I tell you what, you start to look on a bench, you think that's not good enough. So we need signings, we need them now. And ideally, I think we need 4 or 5 of them. And for the first time in a little while, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, okay, yes, we need the striker, the defender, yes, central midfielder, and all those things. But I'm now looking at it and thinking, we need a winger as well.